Less possibilities. The government is building the foundation for a thriving tomorrow through strategic billion-dollar investments that fuel industries, facilitate an environment for job creation, and empower communities to rise. We are transforming Jamaica with world-class sustainable infrastructure, creating a nation where every Jamaican can achieve more and build a lasting legacy. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, investing today, building a future for tomorrow.
Be crowned the back-to-school champion parent with a Sagicor Bank unsecured loan.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
CVM News at 7 Wednesday headlines, courtesy of Heart NSDA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, PNP councillor perishes in car crash. Holness unveils new cabinet to drive Jamaica's Republic vision. Malahoo Fort axed, Wheatley and Montague named in new cabinet. Just 3 PNP senators returned to the upper house. In the business report, seed funding and agribusiness expansion. While in sports, Tajay Gale wins silver at 2025 World Championships.
News at 7 Wednesday headlines, courtesy of Heart NSDA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
It's a Schoolboy Football 2025 Round 1 kicks on Saturday, September 20 from St. Elizabeth Technical High School. The big derby takes the spotlight. St. Elizabeth Technical lock horns with longtime rivals Monroe College in a St. Elizabeth derby. CVM TV, CVMTV.com and CVM TV on YouTube bring you the fever pitch atmosphere at 3:30 p.m. Before that, BB Coke takes on Sydney Pagan STEM at 1 p.m. in another St. Elizabeth derby. See it happen live and exclusive on CVM TV, CVMTV.com and CVM TV on YouTube. That's Stets versus Monroe College at 3:30 p.m. and BB Coke versus Sydney Pagan STEM at 1 p.m.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of.
Seize the next IPO opportunity seamlessly with the Sagicor e-Invest.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Wednesday, September 17, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin with a developing story. Patrick Forrester, the PNP councillor for the Petersfield Division in Westmoreland, died in a motor vehicle crash on the Lindos Hill Main Road in the parish shortly after 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. It's understood the vehicle, which was being driven by his son, veered off the roadway. The 3 other occupants of the vehicle have been hospitalized. The incident is being investigated by the police. The Prime Minister has finally announced his cabinet, and there are already some noticeable changes. Among them, the absence of former Legal and Constitutional Affairs Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort and 2 returning faces to modified roles. But with the axe coming down on some popular names and several fresh faces making it to the Senate, anticipation is high ahead of the start of the new parliamentary term on Thursday. Meanwhile, the absence of Marlene Malahoo Fort and the return of Dr. Andrew Wheatley and Robert Montague to the cabinet are major talking points coming out of today's swearing-in ceremony. Dr. Wheatley resigned as Science and Technology Minister in 2018 amid a massive scandal at the state-owned oil refinery Petrojam, which fell under his portfolio. And Robert Montague resigned as a cabinet minister in 2022 after an Integrity Commission report on the Firearm Licensing Authority cited him for knowingly granting firearm permits to 6 people with criminal traces while he was National Security Minister. That was between 2016 and 2018. CVM's Raymond Morrison reports. And we'll get back to that shortly. We take a break. More in just a moment.
Want you to read the teleprompter, all right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
4, 3, 2.
Welcome to Deposit Insurance in a Minute. Deposit insurance is a system designed to protect depositors in the event that a bank or other deposit-taking institution fails.
It is a key part of a country's financial safety net, ensuring that if something goes wrong, depositors don't lose all their hard-earned money.
Big man thing, we never know say them thing exist.
JDIC is the government entity that protects depositors by insuring their deposits up to 1.2 million. So even if a bank fails, you won't lose everything.
A good something this one because me can't take no surprise with my money.
You can't say that again.
JDIC, protecting your deposits,
securing your future.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Need to replace or amend your exam certificate? The Overseas Examinations Commission can help. The local service charges $3,960 Jamaican dollars. Apply using our new service portal, OEC Online. With OEC Online, you can pay for our services from anywhere, right at your fingertips. Locate us at 6 Manhattan Road, Kingston 5, or 18 Queens Drive, Montego Bay, or call 876-618-3721, or visit our website at overseasexams.org.jm. The OEC, your trusted partner for certificate services.
Thanks so much for staying with us. As promised, the Prime Minister has finally announced his cabinet, and there are already some noticeable changes. Among them, the absence of former Legal and Constitutional Affairs Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort and 2 returning faces to modified roles. But with the axe coming down on some popular names and several fresh faces making it to the Senate, anticipation is high ahead of the start of the new parliamentary term on Thursday. From the onset, the Prime Minister's push and expectation of his newest cabinet was clear.
The truth is that the major challenges that Jamaica faces, crime, housing, education, energy, infrastructure, digital transformation, they all cut across multiple ministries. Success will not come from working in silos, but from collaboration and synergy. Our people will not measure us by how well we protect our portfolios, but by how well we work as one cabinet, as one government, as one Jamaica.
His message intended for not just those looking on, as he pledges to take Jamaica to the next level of growth and governance, but to the men and women he had appointed to serve the country in critical roles. 18 members of his party will serve the country in critical portfolios, but none by former Legal and Constitutional Affairs Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort, who championed the cause for Jamaica's republic status in the previous cabinet. In fact, her ministry is now added to the justice portfolio. Then, 2 former cabinet members booted under controversial circumstances years past have returned. Western St. Mary MP Robert Montague is now without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure, formerly the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. His colleague, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, returns as Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, responsible for science, technology, and special projects. All other ministers retained their posts, with notable mentions including Dr. Horace Chang for National Security, Favour Williams in Finance and the Public Service. Darrell Vaz returns to Transport, Telecommunications and Energy, Floyd Green back in Agriculture, and Dr. Christopher Tufton prescribed a second time to Health. Meanwhile, over in the Senate, 3 new faces have appeared. Among them, noted businessman and philanthropist Keith Duncan, attorney-at-law Rosemary Bennett Cooper, and son of former Senate President Tom Tavares Finson, Christian Tavares Finson. Kamina Johnson-Smith, Aubin Hill, and Dr. Dana Morris Dixon retaining their previous posts, having been sworn in as senator prior to their ministerial appointments today. This time around, there is no psychiatrist Dr. Sophia Longmore in the Senate. Neither is there a Senator Delroy Williams nor a Senator Delano Seavright, as both men will now sit in the lower house. As will their colleague, entrepreneur and ambassador Audrey Marks, who won the Manchester Northeastern seat previously held by the retired Audley Shaw. Returning to the upper house will be Shireen Golding Campbell, Abka Fitzhenley, Dr. Elan Thompson, Marlon Morgan, Charles Sinclair, and Tom Tavares Finson. The executive is expected to be rounded out with ministers of state. There was no indication when those will be named. Meanwhile, the absence of Marlene Malahoo Fort and the return of Dr. Andrew Wheatley and Robert Montague to the cabinet are major talking points coming out of today's swearing-in ceremony. Dr. Wheatley resigned as Science Technology Minister in 2018 amid a massive scandal at the state-owned oil refinery Petrojam, which fell under his portfolio. Meanwhile, Robert Montague resigned as a cabinet minister in 2022 after an Integrity Commission report on the Firearm Licensing Authority cited him for knowingly granting firearm permits to 6 people with criminal traces while he was National Security Minister between 2016 and 2018. CVM's Raymond Morrison reports.
Under the gaze of the nation, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness unveiled a team he says will lead Jamaica into a new chapter, one that includes the country's transition to republic status. The swearing-in ceremony at King's House marked the beginning of the Jamaica Labour Party's 3rd consecutive term, with Holness retaining control of the critical portfolios of defence and economic growth.
So, to my ministers, let me be direct. This appointment is not a personal prize. It is not a reward for loyalty, nor a platform for status. It is an assignment of national importance, heavy with responsibility and demanding of sacrifice. Let us remain grounded in humility and resist the temptation to see ministries as personal turf. We cannot afford progress to be slowed by lack of collaboration with ministries pulling in different directions. We are not going to lose the momentum that we gained in our last term.
But questions loomed over the absence of the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Ministry, formerly led by Marlene Malahoo Fort.
My understanding is that it will be reintegrated with the Ministry of Justice to ensure that our ability to leverage and re-energize the legislative agenda. The split meant that we were not able to optimize the speed that we had previously. But while we made some solid achievements under under that ministry, bringing them together again is likely to deliver better results going forward, because the opposition has been less than positive in the signals that they've been sending about cooperation on the constitutional side. We're going to try to see how we can best leverage what we want to be a consultative process that again prioritizes our move to becoming a republic.
And the return of former ministers Dr. Andrew Wheatley and Robert Montague sparked public discussion.
Just to say that Dr. Wheatley and Minister Montague are both experienced cabinet members who undoubtedly will have a great deal to contribute. Prime Minister has been very clear that delivery must be critical and delivery in the interests of the Jamaican people. People must feel the benefits of our economic progress. And certainly ensuring that Minister Montague has responsibility for titling and settlements. I don't know if you have looked at our manifesto, but we have a massive target of 25,000 titles per year. We have a new systemic land titling system that has already been delivering results, and now it will be about leveraging that and adding that to the social housing program and its ability to exponentially expand. So for that, you need somebody who not only understands how the wheels of government work, somebody who's insistent on getting things done, and also someone who understands in the most sensitive ways that someone who once served as the only councillor in an entire parish who represented the Jamaica Labour Party, how important it is to work across the aisle and to deliver for people and understand when you understand their needs.
Education Minister Dana Morris-Dixon agreed, noting that more appointments are expected to come.
We have sent out the full list that has been provided by the Prime Minister to the Governor General, and as the days go on, we will obviously be talking about portfolio assignments. There is another document that will come which speaks to all of the different various agencies that we have across government and which ministry they will be assigned to. And there'll be more information in terms of the portfolio assignments at that point.
Finance Minister Favour Williams also used the opportunity to outline her priorities for the country's fiscal future.
Will be an even greater focus on growth, ensuring that government works faster, better. There'll be quite a bit of focus on digitizing government, us working with all the ministries to ensure that they come on board for all the things that will be implemented. So I'm looking forward.
And when asked about the possibility of a state minister being assigned to the ministry, she responded,
The Prime Minister will make announcements in due time as to who the state ministers are in the various ministries.
The Ministry of Water, Environment and Climate Change, led by Matthew Samudo, represents a strategic move to give greater focus to issues that have long been critical to national development and disaster resilience.
Our climate has changed. It is already affecting the stability of our water supply. That is exacerbated by weak infrastructure that suffered from 40 to 50 years of disinvestment. We have to race against time if we're to build in the sort of resilience with our existing network that we need, as well as to extend the network, to extend the utility footprint, to ensure that we do achieve Vision 2030, which is to get potable water to every single Jamaica.
Raymond Morrison, CVM News.
Stay with us. Our news package continues in a moment.
To foundation for many generations. Home buyer or home builder, get to your destination. Get home with NHT. More possibilities. Get home with NHT. The key to your home. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We are the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation, moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public, while on the road to republic. Let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We are the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We are the road to republic.
My name is Dahoni Adlam. I am 35 years of age.
I'm Ruby Smith. I'm 83 years of age. The house, what I really been into, it wasn't wholesome.
My house got burned down. It was terrible. I lost everything in the fire.
I sleep so happy.
I'm happy that I have somewhere again. The new social housing program, I am happy because it gives me a second chance and others as well.
The government, through the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, is building hope, one home at a time.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Opposition leader Mark Golding has unveiled the team that will represent the People's National Party PNP in the upper house. Only 3 of the senators who served in the last parliamentary term have been reappointed, making way for a fresh lineup of faces. Among those returning is veteran legislator Donna Scott Motley, who is widely expected to take up the post of leader of opposition business in the Senate. She will be joined by Professor Floyd Morris, a former Senate president and one of the PNP's most experienced parliamentary figures, as well as Lambert Brown, a long-serving trade unionist. Kisha Anderson, the party's treasurer and businesswoman, has been tapped to bring financial expert to the chamber. Ramon Small Ferguson, CEO of Barita Investments, will also take his seat on the opposition side, along with Dr. Maziki Them, a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, known for her work on governance and social development. Rounding out the team are Cleveland Tomlinson. He's the PNP's junior spokesman on finance, and Mr. Alan Bernard, who previously contested the St. James Northwestern constituency for the party. Meanwhile, the People's National Party has made a preemptive strike relating to the identity of the Speaker of the House. The party's leadership states that, quote, in recent years, serious concerns have arisen regarding the manner in which business of the House or the business of the House has been conducted, including what the party describes as, quote, obfuscation and inordinate delays in the tabling of critical reports to Parliament from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission, end quote. The party asserts these matters have eroded trust and confidence in the critical role of the Speaker. Consequently, the opposition says that it will not support the reappointment of either Mrs. Marissa Dalrymple Philibert or Mrs. Juliet Holness to the position of Speaker of the House. PNP Chairperson Dr. Angela Brown Burke adds that, quote, the next Speaker must uphold the Constitution, safeguard the integrity of Parliament, act fairly, and ensure balance in their rulings. Still on politics, reactions are pouring in after Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness took the oath of office for his 4th term in office on Tuesday. Supporters, while celebrating continuity, are anxious about the road ahead. Amoy Harriet reports.
The lawns of King's House turned green Tuesday evening, not from the grass beneath, but from the sea of supporters draped in the color of the Jamaica Labour Party filling the venue. Dignitaries, diplomats, and everyday Jamaicans turned out to witness Dr. Andrew Holness once again taking the oath of office, this time for his 4th term as Jamaica's Prime Minister. Celebrations, and the frequent chants. But as the celebrations echoed across the lawns, hard to ignore was the weight of expectation, almost as palpable as the evening heat. Mindful of the moment, Dr. Holness, in his inaugural speech, reflected on the country's progress while setting fresh commitments for the term ahead. Chief among them, eradicating poverty, strengthening the economy, tackling crime, transforming education, and shaping Jamaica into a socially just, equitable nation, one that is business-friendly and ready to claim its place among the world's leading countries. Now, on some of these fronts, he extended an olive branch to opposition leader Mark Golding, urging collaboration.
Mark, let us partner together to complete the work we started on making Jamaica a republic.
Dr. Holness went further.
There are those who say, Prime Minister, you have achieved so much, you have nothing left to prove. It is time to hand over the baton. I hear you, I hear those voices, but I also hear another voice. The voice of Jamaica itself. The voice that says we are not yet where we need to be. The voice that says we are destined for more. The voice that says our children deserve to inherit not just hope but opportunity, not just survival but success, not just resilience but prosperity.
Dr. Holness's message sparked an immediate response from JLP members who said his message set the right tone for the new term.
I think Jamaica is expecting continuity of what we have been doing, so we have to wait and see what the new composition of the cabinet is, but basically the parties will remain. They are there and the parties are there. So I expect a smooth transition.
Only get better. Okay?
Expectations are equally as high among members of the opposition.
The country needs to move ahead, and therefore I believe in those instances where there is an alignment of vision and purpose, I believe the opposition will be willing to work to achieve those goals.
Supporters too share in the optimism.
His vision that he laid out for the country is a very good vision, and all we need is unity, faith, and work together, because Jamaica has potential, but potential is a dream without putting in the work.
Michael Andrew Holness made Jamaica proud, a very wonderful Jamaica under Mr. Michael Andrew Holness.
Now, the new parliamentary term is set to begin on Thursday. Amoy Harriet reporting for CVM News.
The race is on this evening as political candidates scramble to remove campaign materials from the streets with the September 17 removal deadline hours away from expiring. Our reporter Amoy Harriet drove through the corporate area today to see how the cleanup was unfolding.
It's September 17, exactly 14 days since the general election was held, and under the law that means that today is the deadline for all campaign-related advertisements and paraphernalia to be removed from the streets. Now it's going on 6 o'clock in the evening, and we're driving around the corporate area, and to our surprise, we're still seeing campaign posters from candidates of both major political parties erected on utility poles, on buildings. I mean, in one constituency we saw at least 10 posters from the same candidate. Now it's important to note that candidates have until 11:59 tonight to remove their posters from the streets. However, it is concerning that even after 2 weeks we're still seeing this many posters in our communities.
Our news team also drove through sections of St. James Wednesday afternoon. Up to 4 o'clock, these campaign posters were still on the streets. We sat down with the mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, on Monday. He told us that at the time, about 60% of paraphernalia across the city had been cleared. For the other 40%, he expressed hope that efforts would be made by Wednesday to have them removed.
People like to see their space clear, and in the communities, for example, the members of the community, they often ask that we remove those signs. I'm a political representative. I've gone through the process. I remove my signs, and I'm encouraging those who have recently completed that process to do the same.
Of note, there are sanctions in place for failure to comply with the deadline. These include fines, prosecution, recovery of cleanup costs, and forfeiture of campaign deposits which candidates made to the Electoral Commission of Jamaica (ECJ). LaFron Thompson is the liaison officer at the Office of the Political Ombudsman at the ECJ.
There's also the requirement in law that they be issued with a certificate of compliance following the passage of an election and the submission of their required return, and also to state that they have been compliant with the electoral law. These are all things that are considered in the issuing of that certificate.
But there are calls for stricter penalties to be introduced. At the recent sitting of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation meeting, Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, hinted at the introduction of additional fees for delinquents. He noted that the municipal corporation had written to the general secretaries of both major political parties requesting they ensure timely removal of all paraphernalia.
I believe the time has come for us to review this arrangement. We should engage the political parties in a serious discussion about introducing a system whereby they provide a deposit or refundable bond to the KCMC before erecting campaign signs and advertisement. This bond would be refunded if all materials are removed within a specific period following the elections. However, if the materials remain, the KCMC should retain the funds to cover the cost of removal.
Now, with just about 4 hours to go until the deadline and with heavy rainfall reported in some sections of the island throughout today, there are questions about whether the 11:59 deadline will be met. Now, CVM News will of course be on the ground throughout the course of the night monitoring the cleanup process. Reporting from the streets of Kingston and St. Andrew, I am Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
There's so much more to come when we return.
For Jesus 2025, 25th Jubilee Year of Hope with Father Holong and Friends, a celebration of faith and the life of Jesus Christ at the National Arena. Gala shows on September 27 to 28 and October 4 to 5. Tickets adults $2,000 and $3,000, children $1,200. All proceeds support missionaries of the poor. Get your tickets now. Call 876-774-7350 or 876-809-5877. Jesus 2025. You can't afford to miss it. Jesus.
Crunch your craving with the value menu from KFC. With combos starting at just $620. KFC, it's finger licking good.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Still in local news, heavy rainfall in Montego Bay, St. James Wednesday afternoon left sections of the city flooded. The downpour lasted for approximately 75 minutes. CVM News understands at least one vehicle was swept away. It's unclear if there were occupants in the Mark X when it was being swept away by floodwaters. In the meantime, several vehicles were seen partially covered along the Catherine Hall Main Road. There remains a heavy buildup of traffic in and around Montego Bay. Forecasters say the rain is expected to continue into Friday. And there is an air of uncertainty as to when work will resume on the Western Children and Adolescent Hospital in Montego Bay, St. James, after construction teams protested at the facility today demanding outstanding salaries. The workers have reportedly not been paid since January. Details from Carlin Brown.
From atop a section of one of the high-rise buildings under construction, this Jamaican worker stood out, as did those on the flat we saw standing behind a grilled entrance to what's expected to be a 220-bed state-of-the-art health facility, the Western Children and Adolescent Hospital. Those men were outnumbered by the non-English Chinese nationals gathered around a sign which expressed the source of their discontent. The words, "Need money, no work" were clear, and almost on cue, the men who said they had not been paid since January pointed to the additional information they were unable to articulate.
No money! China Post, no money!
The facility being built on the compound of the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Mount Salem, Montego Bay, is a gift, as explained by the newly reappointed Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton.
The Western Child and Adolescent Hospital is a gift from the Chinese government, and the Chinese government contracted the contractor in China, and the relationship is between the contractor, the Chinese government, and of course the workers. So we really are not party to that arrangement.
Dr. Tufton says the project has been going well to date, and there is clearly an issue.
I'm awaiting a report from the project, the local project oversight entity, which is the UDC.
The workers voiced concerns for their children and elderly relatives back home. Now it's understood the Chinese embassy was contacted to mediate. However, no time was established for mediation. Our camera captured tense exchanges between workers and the supervisor. Carlin Brown, CVM News.
A broken pipeline in Mount Salem, St. James has been flooding the roadway since Tuesday, causing disruptions for residents and motorists. Carla Ramdeen has more.
Residents say the flooding started before midday on Tuesday after National Water Commission contractors were working in the area, which damaged a water main. It has been flowing continuously into drains along the roadway since. The excess water has been causing traffic pileups, making it difficult for motorists to pass through the area. Residents are frustrated.
I wonder how much water they are waste and St. James have water crisis. That don't make no sense. Too much water waste. Water cannot run for right as from 12 o'clock till now. Slippery. And you see in the sun, where water there, deep. About 7 foot of water that there. I can't see me, I drop in there right now, I'm dead.
I don't know how the man dig down and go bust. That apparently down there, so 10 feet down in the
Another resident told CVM News that he was injured while trying to traverse the area.
It's past here every day, go to shop. I have elderly person who walk on the sidewalk yourself, you go drive down a mixing shop down there. So as they say, you have to look out for the elder them, because they can just simply slip. I'm not several times I walk here, so I'm a foot ring.
While some felt the impact firsthand, others made light of the situation. In a video on social media, one resident was seen jumping in the water, declaring it a pool party. The NWC has since blocked off the affected section and is conducting repairs in the area, which were expected to be completed by 3 p.m. Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
In news overseas, the former head of America's top public health agency is speaking out against Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s policies. Suzanne Monares was fired from her post after refusing to approve vaccine policy changes without scientific review. Now she's warning a public health crisis could come from those changes, as we hear from Al Jazeera.
Susan Monares lasted just 28 days as the head of the CDC, America's main public health agency. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired her, claiming she admitted being untrustworthy.
I think we all should be, first and foremost, friends and allies of the American people.
But the top Democrat on the committee says it was clear why she was dismissed.
Dr. Menares was fired because she refused to act as a rubber stamp to implement Secretary Kennedy